What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. Hey man, it is way too much going on with the group Xscape, man. There's so much internal beef with the entire group. We got Kandi and Latocha having issues. We got Tamika and Latocha having issues, sibling rivalry, something going on with that. Tiny's kind of playing the background, but she tends to lean a little bit to let Kandi do the talking for whatever it is. It seems like she pretty much echoes her sentiments in all things. But of course, we all know that the big issue that's been going on for the last few weeks is the problem between Tamika Scott and Latocha Scott, the sisters, right? Now, Tamika has been accusing her sister Latocha and her husband Rocky of stealing over $30,000 in music royalties from the collection company called Sound Exchange. Now, for those of y'all that don't understand what Sound Exchange does, Sound Exchange pays out for songwriters that are getting their music played on non-interactive streaming sites. Right? Non-interactive in a nutshell is if you listen to music on SiriusXM, Pandora, anything that you can't necessarily choose the song you're listening to, non-interactive. Internet radio, iHeartMedia, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that doesn't actually come on FM radio. They have a lot of different stations that you can only hear online. Some of those live 365 stations, all of that good stuff. That's what Sound Exchange pays for. Hopefully y'all are following along with me. If you don't understand it, just Google it, you know what I mean? But for those that are not actively taking part in music careers, it's not exactly essential information. But what is essential is that you like and share this video. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out now. There's more to come, but I just want y'all to engage with the content, okay? Now, moving forward, Latocha Scott just went live on IG crying, boo-hooing, covered in, I don't know whether it was tears or sweat, maybe a combination of both, where she is trying to say her apologies. She's saying that both her and her sister have receipts. They have separate receipts, you know what I'm saying, basically defending each other's points, but that they need to come to some middle ground. She just wants to be family. She just wants to get past this whole thing. This is not what they intended. Sounds like a cleanup to me. This sounds like one of those situations where a man done messed up in his relationship, done cheated with 5, 6, 7 hoes, come back in July. I just want my family back. I don't know what we got to do to work it out, but I just want my family. That's what it's giving for me. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man, but I'm gonna go ahead and play that tape so that y'all can see it for yourself, because I don't want to just be paraphrasing what they saying. You could get it straight from the source.
I know what the pain feels like, and for me and my sister, we're gonna get it together. You know, I'm reaching out. I don't have the answers. I found out about a $30,000 allegation when I watched TV with y'all. Did I take my sister's money? I did not. We were going through so much 10, 11 years ago together as a family. It was one of the things that, I can't lie, we were both at our lowest. We didn't have money. We all lived with my mother. And that's something that, you know, y'all will see on the show where we say that I didn't have anywhere to live. We didn't. And we pulled through. So when you talk about 30,000 that I don't know anything about, all I said is, can we get clarity about it? Because during that time, we both were helping one another. I just need clarity. What are you seeing? What are you saying? Because I have my receipts and you have yours. But we need to sit down as sisters and not go through this in the social media. Like on social media, it's not good. We need to sit down and figure out what this is, because we can get through anything, but we have to communicate. We have to talk to one another, because you can't get through anything without that. And I've been convicted already of being a thief, and I don't even know what you're talking about. You put up something online, but Tamika, we both have receipts. We both have receipts. Let's just get through it. What is this? How do we maneuver? How do we get through this? Whatever it is, Tamika, we can resolve it. This is not nothing that we need to perpetuate and continue to move and make people feel away. This is us. We sisters. We've never not been able to talk about anything, ever. And I don't feel like because of what's going on in this media that we should use this platform to down one another or to try to make each other feel less than. That's not what this is. We're supposed to be family. And I want my family back. I don't care about nothing else. And I've always said that I don't care about what people say. It's about what I feel like with my sister, how she feels. And I apologize to you, Tamika, if I didn't hear you. If I didn't hear your voice, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best to to make it. I'm trying to weather storms in my own personal life. It's like I'm not trying to negate how y'all's feelings are. It's like I have to still have peace within. I got to be able to understand how to move. I don't have all the answers. Being a big sister, you don't have all the answers. Sometimes I make mistakes. I'm human. But with us, we have to resolve this. This cannot dampen or drag us out or make us feel like we don't love each other. We love each other. The love is never going to go. Love doesn't just, you can't throw love away. You just can't throw it out the window because something comes on, and you have a hiccup in the road. That's not what this is. I love you with all of my heart. With all of my heart. And when I hear people say, your sister had your back, and we've had each other's backs. I stood up for you the same way you stood up for me. And I won't apologize for that. That's what it is. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how we were raised. That bond can't be broken. Now, right now, we're going through these times, but at the end of the day, when I got my sister and I got my family, I still stand on that. That's everything. It's that and then the business. And that's why y'all see me looking crazy on TV. Y'all don't know that was the very first scene that my sister and I shot with my mother. No, it wasn't 4 or 5 scenes later. It was the very first scene. So I'm upset. I carry my feelings right here. Everybody that knows me, they know that. I'm not fake. I don't know what to do with that. This is who I am. I can't hide from it. I can't shun it. I can't sit here and pretend that it ain't. This is who I am. So if y'all see me cry, y'all see me looking like this, is because I'm in my feelings. And I'm in my feelings when it come down to my family. And we gonna resolve this. I love my sister. And can't nobody else talk about it. Don't call me talking about my sister. Don't text me talking about my sister. Do not DM me talking about my sister. Because we're going through this. It's just the fact that we're in the public eye. So many people out there now. Y'all going through stuff too. It's just the cameras are not in y'all's faces. The cameras are not capturing the fact that you guys are going through far worse than what we are. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm saying, don't judge us. Pray for us. Be there for us. In a way to where God gets the glory. It's not even about us at the end of the day. It's about the love that we have and what we show people to get through. And we're going to get through this. I trust in God that we will. And we will.
All right, now that we got that out the way, we also have Tamika's video from last night where she went and she showed her receipts, right? Where she said, y'all changed my address. Y'all forged my signature. Y'all claim to be my management company. All of this type of stuff. Y'all been receiving my bread, or y'all were receiving my bread. She even had a sit down with Miss Diane, who's Tiny's mother. The reason why they're even receiving Sound Exchange checks to begin with, where Tiny's mother breaks down the entire situation and they talk about the actual discrepancy where Sound Exchange could have possibly been sending it to the wrong address. But there was an instant where the company said that there was an issue with Latocha and Edward Bivens, aka Rocky. So that definitely incriminates them to a certain degree regardless. I'm gonna go ahead and just let y'all see the screenshots from Miss Tamika's video where she shows and exposes this to be real. Y'all see it, right? I'm sure some of y'all saw this last night, but we got to do the recap just so everybody stays up to date, because I haven't talked about Xscape in a few days, about a week really. And now let's get into the actual conversation between her and Miss Diane so y'all can hear exactly what they're saying about this whole ordeal.
Well, I signed Xscape, every one of them, up for Sound Exchange. And I sent all the paperwork, and Tamika, I did Latocha, everybody. And Tamika told me when we filled out the paperwork, she was living in New York then, and I still have the paperwork. And I filled it out, and I've put it, her address was all in New York and everything. Tamika, my Tamika had gotten her checks, and it was a pretty big check then. I'm thinking it was like close to $20,000 the first time. They got a lot of checks though. And Tamika said, I didn't get my checks. And I said, well, you should have. I said, because Tamika's gotten several checks already. And so we called up to Sound Exchange. Me and Tamika was on the line. And we talked to, this guy's name was Joe Mo Grady. I think he's passed away, but back then he was the person we talked to. And he talked to Tamika, and she asked him questions about her checks. And he told her that her checks were going to Hampton, Georgia. And so after that, she said, well, I live in New York. How did this happen? And he sent her copies of the checks. I mean,
yeah,
so
he sent copies.
He said something about your sister and Rocky. Edward Bivens, because I really didn't know Rocky's name.
Right, he
was
said Edward Bivens cash the checks. But how was I supposed to get my money back?
The only way you could get your money back is you had to prosecute them. And you said, I don't want to do that.
Once we did do the investigation, well, they sent information. Someone sent in, which was my sister, and I will be showing that in a second. She changed the contract and put her name on the contract saying that she was my manager. And you're going to see that in a second. And then they put they sent my passport. It was a lot of stuff.
I know he said, that they had proof. They thought it was you and everything. But there's only reason that you couldn't get your money back is you would have to prosecute them.
No one has a reason to lie. And you're going to see with the receipts. And if it wasn't for Miss Diane, none of us, me, Kandi, my sister, Tiny, nobody would have gotten these checks from Sound Exchange. If it wasn't for you finding out about that royalty,
my husband with the TAMs, I signed them up, and that's how I found out about it. And our business managers in New York told me about it. So that's kind of how I knew about Sound Exchange.
Thank you for doing that, because we're still getting checks today.
That's good. Get them checks.
Yes, love you. Thank you.
I love Tasha still. I mean, I love her. I mean, and I would never lie on none of y'all. I love y'all.
I know.
Y'all my babies.
Another thing that rubs me entirely wrong about this whole situation is the conversation of extortion, right? So now that Miss Tamika is out here actually telling her story, showing her receipts, and being all the way transparent about how we got to this place, she's been receiving threatening texts that she believes are from Latocha and her husband, Rocky, okay? Because they're mentioning things that were only talked about in intimate details between herself and her sister. So she knows if you're talking about a sex tape that y'all are trying to leak out, who on earth would actually have access to it? If you're the only person I've told about it, right? And you're the only person who had access to it because I gave it to you to put in your safe, but you all of a sudden say that it was stolen out of your safe when the only two people that have the code for it is you and your husband. How did that happen? You didn't say nobody broke in y'all house. Nothing else was reported stolen. So it just magically disappeared with no explanation, and that's all that was taken. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, man. This is why I really don't engage with a lot of these so-called Christian people. I have much love for Christian folks. Let me just go ahead and preface that. But for some of those people out here that be acting like they super hardcore with their faith and they can't mention a sentence or talk about their day or do anything without acknowledging God or saying, God bless, or something like that, I don't trust them folks. I feel like they be covering up for a lot of their flaws, putting God in the conversation so that you can't critique what really be going on. When I look at people like Latocha Scott, when I look at people like how Master P, how he's been talking about the devil is up against him because people are saying he owe them money. Like, it just seems to be a running theme. When these Christian folks get caught up in some dirty schemes, the first thing they want to talk about is the devil attacking them, how God gonna pull them through, how God sees all, and everything will be worked out in due time. It's always some bullshit like that, man. You putting out a whole gospel album, but you out here stealing, threatening, extorting people. Why would you even want to acknowledge the sex tape? You supposed to be Mrs. Christian, but you out here talking about you trying to put a sex tape out on somebody to put a blemish on their name, to steer and redirect the conversation from what is actually the subject of run me my 30K, my G. Matter of fact, run me all of what y'all owe me, because again, I've only been telling the public about one particular check. Them things come out a few times out the year. So run me everything y'all owe me. To be honest, outside of the entertainment that's going on with this show, I'm sure they're getting paid handsomely to embarrass themselves like this, but it's unfortunate to feel like a legendary group, a group that we all know and love with hits that will live on forever, has to go through this type of situation where they tarnish so much of what they built in the course of a few weeks. This is a group that's broken up multiple times and had multiple issues, of course, but the way that this thing is rolling out, not even on the TV screen, but more so between social media, Instagram, and YouTube, the way that this thing is unfolding, it's hard to understand how y'all could even make it back from this. You know what I'm saying? For real, I don't see a reason why you would want to. Now, I do hear rumors that Xscape is over and that 3 members are going to go off and create a new group or something to that effect. It's not looking good. Maybe y'all need JD back in the fold after all. Let me know what y'all think of this craziness down below in the comments, man. Be sure to like and share this video. For all of my folks in the chat, I appreciate you tuning in. Please leave a little something down below just to let me know that you watched. But I'm going to catch y'all later on the next one. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and hit that post notification bell, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff so you get all updates for my content coming in the future. And I will see you guys later, okay? Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.